Hey you guys, Tricia Turner here. As you know, every week we're bringing an agent to you, an agent that works here in the office and especially focused on our area, Katy, surrounding communities, everywhere around here. This week we've got Matt Barnes. His info is on the bottom of the screen, so definitely make sure you take that down and reach out to Matt. Yeah, anytime you got real estate questions. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you for having me,
Thank
Tricia.
you for being here.
Yes.
Matt comes all the way from the windy city of Chicago. Only been here in Houston with us for about 2 years, so we are really loving having him here, and he's loving real estate here.
Yeah, I didn't drive all today. That's a long drive.
Yeah, it's a long drive.
I've been down here for 2 years since October of 2016.
It's crazy.
So brought my whole entire family down here, and so
Wow.
it was certainly a big overhaul to have had an established business and a group of advocates in terms of referral bases and things like that. But brought my whole family down here. My in-laws live right next door to us.
So is that why you moved here?
No, actually, we did move here because my mother had lived here previously
Okay.
for the next year or two, and we moved. We were visiting in January sometime, and it was like 70 degrees down here, and we started considering the cost of living versus Chicago, and at that point, my wife and I had a young son, Russell, will be 5 in January.
Wow.
Yes, we have a new addition, so Lucy is 18 months. So just to be closer to family. I had lived in Chicago for 13 years, and it's nice to be back to family as they age and give them the opportunity to be in everyday lives with their grandchildren and stuff. I think is a gift that a lot of grandparents would appreciate.
So in Chicago, you were also in real estate, correct?
I was a real estate broker in Chicago. I actually been in the business for 10 years, so I'm a survivor.
Yeah, big time.
I cut my teeth in 2008, 2009, so if you can remember back then, that was the housing crisis.
Yes.
Complex deals, short sales, foreclosures, a lot of those convoluted transactions.
Yeah.
But the good thing is it gave me an opportunity to invent myself, how I was going to be distinctive in terms of differentiating myself with respect to value and things like that. So so it's been a big change for sure, reinventing myself, but it's been very rewarding at the same time.
So would you call it more challenging here in real estate versus Chicago?
It has been more challenging because I basically started my business entirely over and didn't know one professional person. So I've had to reinvent myself in terms of lead prospecting, making phone calls, reaching out to sellers that were unsuccessful. So I actually went from being more of a buyer's representative, because at that time I had a lot of clients and friends that were at that point in their life demographically where they're ready to buy a condo or buy a home, and so down here I really focused on going after sellers because there's an immediate opportunity there in terms of necessity to provide value and service.
So what would you say is one thing that differentiates you versus the average real estate agent?
Sure, I think that's a great question. Right now, I think a big thing that separates myself from the other competition is I know what it's like to have struggled in a shifting market, have, again, cut my teeth in the market there. So I feel like, 2009, 10, 11, and 12, where agents in the city of Chicago were figuring out how they could grow their business, and with all these different transactions that, if you're not familiar with, can be very time-consuming, convoluted. Down here, I feel, and no offense, hopefully taken, but I just feel there's a lot more complacency with a lot of agents because they have had the good times and haven't really felt the shifting market. So I think especially when it comes to sellers, it is a buyer's market. There's way more inventory, right? So it's about educating those clients and creating the strongest first impression and getting those people in the door and being of value to your sellers in that respect. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you find is your biggest challenge in your business?
My biggest challenge right now, and again, I've been going after sellers who have lingered and have been stagnant on the market for some time, and it's getting them to understand that there are small things make big differences in the eye of a buyer. And whether that's walking through and bringing my stager and paying for a consult myself and adding value that way, or being unvarnished in terms of my opinions and being earnest and being like, listen, this bathroom needs to be recaulked, this needs to be redone, wash the glass shower door, things like that. A lot of people, again, the sellers think hey, I'm just going to throw it on the market. Somebody's going to give me a full price offer. So being unvarnished, being earnest, and being honest about what needs to be done to achieve the goal that they set out to do, which is sell the home. So,
Honest.
yes.
I love that.
Yeah, honesty.
Perfect. Okay, off of real estate a little bit. What is your favorite charity and why?
You know, I really like charities that where you can donate. I think there's an immediate impact. I like Salvation Army, Red Cross, you know, what's some of those other thrift stores, things where you can, you know, take things that used to be of use to our family and can give it to somebody else.
Let
you know?
somebody else enjoy it.
Exactly.
And, that needs it.
Give somebody else the opportunity.
I love
to
that.
enjoy those.
Okay, if you could see yourself anywhere else in the world, where would it be and why?
That's a great question.
Isn't it? I
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, in the future, I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish,
Okay,
so
I
I'd
didn't
love
know
to get
that.
a international business real estate license.
Yeah.
And as I get older, maybe my wife and I can retire someplace in Costa Rica, and I can
Yes.
sell real estate, or
You totally
you
do
know,
that.
Mexico or someplace. I love the Dominican, so if I could see myself someplace, it would probably be on the beach.
And still doing real estate?
Yeah, doing phone
Oh,
calls
yeah.
and everything
Heck
else
yeah.
on the beach
I
with,
love
with
that.
a cocktail in the pool would
Yeah.
be a little better.
That's even better. All right, looking back on your life, what's one thing that you wish you could change or would have done differently?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, I've thought about this for a while. I've always admired the sacrifice that people in the military, you know,
Yeah.
do. Whether, and that means the families as well,
Yeah.
not just the soldiers themselves, but the family too, and what they go through. And I didn't sign up to sacrifice for our country, but I certainly, if that was one thing that I could have changed differently. I'm a little bit older now. So all I can do now is just pay tribute and honor them in the ways that they deserve to be.
That's a good
honored.
answer. I love that
Yeah,
answer.
thank you.
Okay, if you had one piece of advice for someone thinking about getting into real estate, what would that be?
Ask questions. Surround yourself with people that are successful
Yes.
in terms of, because it is a crash course, and you can spend a lot of time doing a lot of things that don't get you the results that you need.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to find business out there
Yes.
if you don't know anybody. So
Yes.
I would say ask questions and don't be afraid to fail too, you know. So
That's
and,
good
and have a
advice.
lot of money in reserve, so before you get your first commission check, it's gonna go quick.
Yeah, it does. Good advice. Okay, last question, you guys. Where do you see yourself and your business in the next 5 years? What's your goals?
Oh, that's a great question. In the next 5 years, I'd love to. My wife is just extremely passionate about real estate, so I'm currently just
Awesome.
an independent agent, but I'm looking to bring her on. I think she'd be great in sales. But I had an outstanding this year. If I see myself in 5 years, I'd love to continue to be a good producer and live the quality of life, you know, that I had anticipated, and spend time with my family, and that's kind of one of the things that I love.
Are you looking at growing your team, making it bigger? Would you be interested in that?
I think with a larger team becomes obviously more management and more responsibility with respect to that. Who knows what the future holds, you know? I
Probably
can,
with the right key players. maybe?
yeah, exactly. I think it's all about vetting and making sure that they have the same philosophy with respect to your approach to real estate.
Yeah,
So
same core values.
with growth, always, it is more of a financial responsibility, and that means team play, you know,
It
the people on your
does.
team.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when it comes time for that, I guess I'll be asking you how I do that.
Yeah, because
In the
Matt's
best of-
amazing. We
in the
love
best
him
of
here.
ways, yeah. Well, thank you so
Very
much.
ethical. Love him.
Really appreciate
All right,
it.
you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here,
Yeah,
Matt.
thanks, Tricia.
Remember, his info's on the bottom of the screen. You guys reach out to him. Remember, he's bilingual too. That's a big plus. I didn't even know. Have a
There you
great
go.
day, Matt.
Thanks,
y'all.
Tricia. Thank you. Bye-bye.